Thanks to all of you who've reached out to me and mentioned that you've received a lot of value out of my last two videos, interview skills and portfolio presentation. You have also mentioned that you need to understand some common terms and get answers to probable questions. For those of you who have interviews and portfolio presentations this week, I did a YouTube live on Sunday, and for those of you who've missed the YouTube live, what I am doing today is I am collating all the questions and answers along with some relevant slides, and I am putting together in this video. First things first, I normally use two words, sustainable fashion. So, sustainable or sustainability combined with fashion. So, let's take fashion first. What is fashion? Now, every man and his dog has an opinion on fashion. Every woman or man claims to be a fashionista. But what is fashion? Have you ever thought about that, or do you think it's generic? Fashion is a generic term. Not quite. There is a definition. You could define fashion as something that becomes popular at a given time and place. So anything could be the way you dress, could be the way you decorate your home, a trend, a fad, anything that's popular at a given time is fashion. I'll clarify a little bit. For instance, punk and goth fashion. Vivienne Westwood popularized the collars, the spiked jewelry, ripped jeans. If you and I were to do it at a different time, we would be considered slightly mad, gone cuckoo. Why? Because the timing wasn't right. So, given the socio-economic political context of punk and goth fashion, late 60s, early 70s, the political angst against Vietnam War, everything that was anti-fashion became a rage. So, suffice to say, anything that's popular, anything that gains currency is fashion. Second word, sustainable or sustainability. How do you define sustainability? Sustainability is preserving the natural resources for future generation. If you enjoy nature, say the beach, forests, would you not want your children, your grandchildren or your great-grandchildren to savor and enjoy all of that? So, when you are taking steps in that direction, when you are taking steps to preserve the natural environment, to preserve the communities, you are contributing towards sustainable fashion. Sustainable fashion is fashion that preserves natural resources. A commonly asked question. Your examiner might ask you this. Why do we need sustainability or sustainable fashion? No one cared about sustainable fashion in the 60s, let's say. Plastic was fantastic, so why now? Because of our negligence, we've come to that point when we do not have a choice anymore. We embrace sustainable fashion or we perish. We may no longer exist in about 50 years from now. If you've seen a movie called Planet of the Apes, you'll know what I am talking about. So, sustainable fashion is not a matter of choice, it's now a matter of compulsion. Why do we need to marry fashionability with sustainability? Guilty as charged. Fashion is the second most polluting industry in the world after oil. Now, this is being debated, but let's confess, fashion is polluting. Do you know how many gallons of water we need to manufacture just one regular cotton t-shirt? 257. Nitrous oxide. Nylon manufacture releases nitrous oxide into the atmosphere, which is like 317 times more potent than carbon dioxide. So we need to do something about this. We need to make fashion sustainable. And you can do that by using the right resources, by being ethical, by adopting the right manufacturing techniques. For this, I'd ask you to refer to my video on how to create a sustainable fashion brand. I do not want to repeat myself. A very common question. I get this question every time I speak to an audience. What are organic textiles? How do we distinguish organic textiles from non-organic textiles? Do they look different? Not quite. You cannot tell organic cotton from regular cotton. The difference is in the method. Organic textiles are grown with natural irrigation, natural fertilizer and natural insecticides. If I am growing 2 crops of organic textiles, organic cotton, I would intersperse it with, say, a crop of legumes. That's why organic cotton can be a tad expensive. Organic textiles are rain-fed. Then you can use fertilizers, natural fertilizers like cow dung. You can use natural pesticides, for instance, neem. I just spoke about neem in one of my earlier videos. You can use marigold flower. Marigold is a natural disinfectant. Keeps the creepy crawlies at bay. For instance, on my right, this is a regular t-shirt. A t-shirt that we used for the strike-offs or for the experimentation. On my left is a AoDA t-shirt. Certified organic cotton. What's the difference between the two? Would you be able to tell the difference? Most likely not. The difference is in the process, the method of cultivation. So this beauty here is free of toxins and it's rain-fed. So no artificial irrigation, no chemical fertilizers or pesticides. So this is absolutely safe for you, for your baby and also for the environment. Another common term, fast fashion. What is fast fashion? Here, remember 3 things. Clothing that's produced in bulk, made out of cheap polyester in most cases, and made in factories which are not controlled or regulated, which are pretty much sweatshops. So because primarily fast fashion is made out of polyester, no prizes for guessing, polyester is cheap, it ends up in the landfill. So about 40% of your fast fashion is sold and the rest of it would end up in the landfill. And because it's made out of plastic, polyester, it would be releasing microplastics everywhere. Microplastics in the environment, microplastics in the water bodies. What's the opposite of fast fashion? Slow fashion. Now, slow fashion was a term that was introduced or coined by someone called Kate Fletcher. Kate Fletcher is a pioneer in the realm of sustainable fashion. I'll talk about Kate's books in an upcoming video. Suffice to say that slow fashion are clothing which are usually made in small quantities onshore, locally, or in ethical factories overseas. They are made with quality fabrics. The styles are classic, so they are meant to last long, and they are normally sold from local smaller stores, not a chain of very large stores. Primarily local mom and pop stores on your local shopping strip would be selling slow fashion. Another term, that's becoming increasingly popular. Circular economy. What is circular economy? So, circular economy aims at minimizing waste. And how do you do that? You continuously use the resources. So, you can incorporate all your hours. You reuse, recycle, reduce, repurpose, reforest. Just redo everything so that you are working with existing resources and do not have to generate new products, new resources. So that's your circular economy. The primary function of circular economy is to reduce waste, reduce what ends up in the landfill, minimize any kind of surplus consumption. Another common question: how do you minimize carbon footprints? And what are carbon footprints? Carbon footprints are measured in terms of the greenhouse gases you generate by your activities. It could be use of electricity, use of heating, travel. And what are greenhouse gases? Gases like methane, gases like carbon dioxide that's released into the atmosphere because of whatever you're doing. And how do you offset carbon footprints? Because if you are generating carbon footprints, you have to neutralize. You have to neutralize the effect of carbon footprints. You can do so many things. You can do reforesting. You can minimize travel. You can work locally. You can work electronically through Zoom and so many other things, new technology. So that's how you offset carbon footprints. I saved the most important word for the end. And what's that word? Greenwashing. Now you'd say, Samita, what's greenwashing? Do I just splash some green paint on a white wall? Not quite. The meaning of greenwashing is metaphorical. Greenwashing is when you claim that a service or a product is environment friendly, but in reality it is not. So that's why I always highlight the importance of third-party validation. So when you say your product is made out of organic textiles, how do I know? I don't, unless you have third-party validation. Every batch of products you make should come with, let's say, Ocotex or GOTS certification. So that's how I am convinced that your product is made out of, authentically made out of organic textiles. If you say you are ethically compliant as a manufacturer, you must have SEDEX certification. So SEDEX is the authority for ethical production. So SEDEX will do a third-party audit at your workplace every year before it renews your certification. And their parameters, their criteria are very stringent. I myself go through SEDEX audit every year and I know how difficult it is to comply with all the criteria. So if you have that certification, the validation from SEDEX, you indeed are an ethical producer. Now, I hope that clarifies your doubts and answers your questions. Have more questions? Not a problem. Put in comments and hopefully I'll be able to answer your questions. Share this video with whoever you think will benefit from the information. Have a wish list? Want us to cover specific topics? Mention in comments and I will do my best. Now, before you go away, do not forget to smash the like button and of course, subscribe. Good luck with your portfolio presentation, your interviews. And if you are experiencing some kind of free interview anxiety, you know who to come to. Till next time, Samita signing off. Bye for now.